Welcome everybody, welcome to True Flat Earth Physics. This is information you've never ever been told, and you'll never hear it anywhere else unless they start listening to me. I've shown this some similar stuff to this before, but you would never have seen anyone, especially in academia, who spin the BS of the globe Earth. You'll never find it there. So I'm going to explain it to all you people who know the Earth is flat and how it all works. Okay, it's about the sun analemma, the changing seasons, how the constellations change, the star overlay. So, and we need to understand the golden ratio. Everything works with the golden ratio. Okay, so basically the sun analemma over our flat Earth system. So there's our flat Earth system if you could look down on Earth, and if you could magically see all the magnetic field lines. Over the year we get the sun analemma doing this, right? I mean, one of these represents one meridian line, one person's image of a sun analemma. So if it's in the southern hemisphere, this is how it works. You'll get the big end of the sun analemma towards the north, because the sun in the south, it comes out of the south. It's a mirrored projection. It's an inversion of the torus of a toroidal field. It moves like this, you see. So everything comes out of the north in the northern hemisphere, but it's mirrored and comes out of the south in the southern hemisphere. So this is how you'll see your sun analemma if you were to film one. But in the north, it's opposite. It comes out of the north, and the big end's on the Tropic of Cancer. This one's on the Tropic of Capricorn. We're all led to believe there's just one in the tropics, right? They draw one on the globe, but which way do they draw it? Because is it this way or is it this way? They draw it this way, showing you that I don't know why they draw it that way. There's no reason, because the ball's symmetrical, isn't it? No, the truth is, it depends on which hemisphere you're in as to which way you get the image. Okay, so if you're in the north, you're looking north to get the big end. If you're in the south, you're looking north to get the big end. And if you're in the north, you're looking south to get the big end. They're opposing each other. The feet are on the boundary. The feet are on the banks of the Jordan, the bank of the Nile, whatever, where Jesus washes their feet. Because it's all connected to religion, because religion is physics. Okay? But you've got to realise everything breaks down like a magnet. You chop it in half, it gets smaller and smaller and smaller. It just keeps changing, going down, 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 just like a Mandelbrot. So on a whole earthly system, you can say there's one analemma that goes like this all the way to the south and back in around the north. But that's not how we see it. The Creator would see it like that initially. We don't. It all comes back down to our personal arc of horizon. It's just there. I mean, your horizon's only 3 miles out at sea level. Your image is within your arc of horizon. But there it is in total, in total southern hemisphere, in the total northern hemisphere. So realise the sun is in many places, but only seen in one. It's only seen in your one arc of horizon. See, these represent the suns. They're all over the place, because they're all mirrored from the dead centre. Right up here in the centre of creation is the real plasma sun, and its first state of projection is into the tropical gap, into here. Okay, but from there it's parabolically projected into both sides, because of this concave field. So if you get a sun image here, from in here at the end of the Milky Way, because the Milky Way is like that gets parabolically projected off here and off there. Everybody gets this reflection wherever he is on Earth. thanks to this crystalline type structure. Okay, so remember when they draw one in the tropics here, they draw a sun analemma on the globe. Which hemisphere does it represent? They don't tell you this. They're opposing each other, do they? No. The southern magnetic field of Earth contracts into the north and out again over the year, because it's a vortex. It's an S-curve vortex like the heart, and the whole field moves in and out. Okay, is it here? It represents one meridian, one observer's meridian. This is how he tracks the sun. This is how he tracks the sun moving up and in. It keeps creeping up, creeping up, creeping up, creeping up, and then flat lines, goes around and then comes creeps back out again. See, basically like this. So how do you get this image? Well, you've got to imagine that right back here is the S-curve of creation. There's your S-curve. Okay, it's an S in there. If you look down, if you look down from the top, you get the golden ratio. I've got one, probably a little bit too many loops here, but if you know what I mean. You're looking down, it's like that. But then on the side, it's an S-curve, a 3D S-curve. I mean, Ken Wheeler talks about this stuff all the time. He talks about the flat plane of inertia, where all life exists. But then he goes and just talk about a globe, so he doesn't want you to know. He's not allowed to let you know because he used to work for the government. Okay, but it's definitely a flat plane we all live on. Everything's moving around us. So you've got to think of creation as all in this S curve. Okay, so out of the north, things spiral out of the north and around like this to the west. Spiral out, come around like this. So there's your northern hemisphere, but the south is inverted. It's the torus inside out. You've got to turn inside out. So it spirals out of the south, and around to here. So it spirals out of the south, comes around over your horizon, then back to the south again. Like I say, there's too many spirals in here. I should cut it short. So we're going to get the S. Cut it somewhere up here. It's just an S curve. Okay. So what the sun is doing over the year is expansion and contraction. You see, this is how we get the change in changing constellations. So you've got to imagine the stars stretched out like this in the northern hemisphere, in here, right? But they're mirrored to the south. They're the same stars, but they're inverted inside out. So you look at this way, or pull that right through and look at it that way. So it's a vortex. You're looking, one way is looking this way, the other way is looking this way. So the two fields of creation come together like this. North and the South Pole, you could say. But out here, between the tropics, is the North and the South Pole this way. So you have a northern hemisphere and a southern hemisphere. But at the end of the day, these are two south poles, because you have a north and a south and a north and a south. Everything's breaking down like I just mentioned earlier. Creation, right back at the beginning of the system, there's the flat plane of inertia. You've got a field coming this way and a field coming this way, north and south. Bingo, bang, out comes the plane of inertia. But then we break it down again. So we have two systems on this top half. There'll probably be two under here, but they don't concern us. Up here you have the two systems. That's still creation. It's attached to our physical realm. So our physical realm is still attached to creation. And this is your connection to religion. We're not severed from this spiritual side of creation. So you come into our physical, well, there's the two systems here. You've got a dual system here and a dual system in this hemisphere. So there's two norths and two souths. They don't connect because they're two souths. Okay? So you go back to this again. So you look at the system like this. stretched out. So after the 17th of October every year, it's completely separated. There's two completely separated rotations, magnetic fields. But over the year, what happens is that the southern hemisphere comes up like this. As the whole system moving around, it winds into the centre. So it's moving around the whole. So there's your centre north. The whole system, or the whole southern hemisphere is moving around it. The northern hemisphere is fixed, right, stuck in the centre, magnetically locked. But the southern field is moving around it constantly, winds in. Okay. So you've got to imagine all the system magnetic field out in the south winding in, winds right in, and it gets to this point here. It's flatlined. That's the sun's crossover here. That's where Earth's magnetic field, the dual system, becomes balanced, and it's dead flat. And this is for 2 days. It's dead flat either side of the sun analemma when it goes up that way and comes around and comes back down this way. And these represent the 2.5 days either side, make up the 5 holy days. This is the secret of religion. The 5 holy days where the magnetic field is balanced, and it's all connected with man being balanced as well. And that's whenever he can become a king. And all the religious stories the ancient Egyptians have left us, it's all spiritual. It's the meaning to life. And it's all there when everything is equilibrium. And and what happens is it inverts like this to carry on up to the other half of the sun analemma. So down here, comes up to there, flat lines, crosses over, and then starts going this way. Down and out that way. Okay? But it's all contracting into the north because the north is a way smaller field. You've got to understand in the magnetic toroidal field. It's all expanded out south, all contracts in, and expands out, contracts in. It's a vortex. It's what the heart does every basic second, isn't it? Good dunk, good dunk. The heart expanding and contracting. So this is where you have to understand why the stars are one way in the northern hemisphere, but opposite in the southern hemisphere. But they're all the same stars. There's only one S curve of creation at the centre. You either take it that way, or you put it inside out and go this other way. Okay. It's when it comes in flat lines, is when the Earth is at rest. The magnetic field is at rest. And that's associated with Virgo, virgin birth, the spiritual birth of man. All flat line. And science tells you that's when the sun and the moon are closest together. It's only September. Well, this flatlining happens both sides, like April and September. But the religious story is about September only. So there you have it, guys. That's how you understand the sun analemma. It flat lines. All the planets, the moon, everything are all on a flat line there. That's when everything lines up. There's no, if you look up in the sky, whether we see it that way or not, it's a big secret. It's sort of like the veil. This is where the veil comes from. It's the hidden. It's hidden from man. So this is it's nothing to do with the equinox. Equinox is just the division between equal day and night in the whole yearly system, but it's not the balanced magnetic field. Okay. So it's you've got to realise when the southern field comes up like this, and as it's getting closer and closer, it's overlaying the northern hemisphere, and you're getting the constellation. The new constellations have come in due to this overlaying, this process, overlaying, and then it goes out, and then they come apart again. So it's always creating a different star patterns, you know, right through the 6 months of the year, and then it comes back again. This represents the sun down and out. It's right out in the field, and then it's going to wind up and in. Okay, that's the northern hemisphere. It winds back up and in. So when the sun is right down and out in the system, it's completely separated from the north and the southern hemisphere. You have a sun all the way around Antarctica here. You see, it's right out there at this time of the year. And then it starts coming back up and in, doesn't it? Right up and in. Then go back out again. So when it's right down and out like here, that you've got to imagine the sun's fully, permanently all the way out here in the south. So, wow. I haven't gone too deep with this here. This point here, on the way back up, is that connected to the complete separation? I have to look into that, guys. I haven't got it on my mind. But realise after the 18th of October, there's the phase shift. You get the sun completely pops into the southern hemisphere around a 24-hour sun in Antarctica. Okay, it stays there for like 5.5 months or something before it starts coming back up and in again. Right up and in, flat lines at the crossover, the 6th of September. Okay, so there's Virgo. So it goes through the whole system. There's Virgo. It's going to go inside out now. So we're going down. We're going down towards the south. Okay, it's come down from the north. It's come down flat lined into Virgo. 6th of September. For 3 days it's dead flat, and then it starts coming back out up this way. Libra, Scorpio, not 18th of October. It completely pops out to the south. Takes a lot of thinking. It is complicated, guys, but you've got to realize it's all this golden ratio, flat line, Fibonacci, whatever, S-curve of creation. The golden ratio is the ratio between the southern hemisphere and the northern hemisphere. Magnetism, that's magnetism. There's always a difference between the north and south pole. They have to be unequal for the whole system to work, for life to exist. And they don't find balance. There's only one time the earth finds balance, once a year. And these are the 5 holy days when man can find spiritual balance as well. So the north is always seeking out the south, and the south is always seeking out the north, type of thing. They're always trying to find equilibrium. Everything in life is trying to find its own balance. Okay, so you release some gas, and it's going to want to rise up to find its equilibrium, its balance in the atmosphere, or the density of things within the earth will just keep sinking, well, they're forever sinking to get maximum contraction, compaction. So star overlays, the constellations. All the stars are in this S-curve. The moon and stars are in the S-curve, but the planets and all that on the flat plane at the top. There's the male entity at the top, where the true sun is around the black hole, and all the planets are out on the plane here. And then you've got to realise the whole thing comes back and collapses into one plane, but it's separated to create life. The 3D, the 2D becomes 3D, and that's when our realm was created. Okay, so you get the overlay of the constellations inverting. So you think of the stars in the north one way, you're looking down that way, but in the southern hemisphere you're looking at them that way. Okay. So then because of the system here, they just flatline overlay. So the stars are changing, see that through this pattern. Remember, they're just doing an S-curve over the night, but we don't see the whole S-curve. We see half the cycle. Okay, you've got to imagine that. Sun analemma, seasonal change. It's the changing of the season. Superman's S-curve. What have we got here? This is how we get the changing constellations via the overlaying of the southern stars with the northern stars. The northern stars are a projection of the northern vortex, while the southern stars are the same, mirrored inside, out, and expanded. Expanded in the field, see, thanks to the S-curve. Northern hemisphere up top here. It all makes sense, doesn't it? As you see an S-curve there. Or if you look at another way, it's the Zorro. Okay. So understand this, you get a good understanding of the whole flat earth system. Expansion and contraction. Expansion and contraction. Completely inverting. Inverting, inside out. That's why we get the sun pop out into the Antarctica, and as the season changes it inverts, then that sun pops into the north. It's all part of this. Comes out of the north, out to the south. Or can go right round and under and back in. Because we're talking about a toroidal field, completely, look at it, completely around. And the earth is the flat plane in the middle. So imagine that going right out and around and back up into the centre. Out from the outside of Antarctica all the way back into the centre. That's what it's doing over the year. But you've got to imagine it's a dual system. So you can imagine this is the northern hemisphere, but then you've got to imagine all this is mirrored all the way around the outside. A projected, it's inverted, mirrored inversion. You got the tropical gap. The tropical gap. The tropical gap. That's why the word mirror is mentioned so many times in esoteric texts and all the ancient books. Okay, so I hope you found that interesting. Thanks for watching.